Straight ahead on 12 News, a revealing report on poverty, how it's impacting local suburbs and area schools. Then, the debate over raising the minimum wage.
If you can't get ahead through hard work, we have lost something very, very important in our economy.
And a Golden Valley lawmaker right in the middle of it. But first, new details emerge from a shooting involving a Brooklyn Park police officer. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Shannon Slatton. Brooklyn Park police officer Jason Chadbourne had to make a split-second decision when a car was headed right toward him.
The officer fired his gun, injuring a suspect. Those details come from a criminal complaint filed today against a 22-year-old Minneapolis man. The incident happened after a fight in a banquet hall parking lot last Saturday night. According to the criminal complaint, 10 men were beginning to break bottles to use in the fight. And when police arrived, they ran to a car and ignored orders to stop. That's when police say the driver, Shua Yang, put the car in reverse and drove toward an officer at a high rate of speed. The complaint says Officer Chadbourne was in danger of being pinned between Yang's car and a row of parked cars. Chadbourne fired multiple times, injuring the driver before the car finally veered away. Officer Chadbourne has been with the Brooklyn Park Police Force since last April. The suspect, Shua Yang, is charged with second-degree assault.
Disparities between whites and non-whites are worse in the Twin Cities metro than in Atlanta, Dallas, and Washington, D.C.
That's according to a new study by the Metropolitan Council. The study shows 6% of whites live in poverty in the metro, compared to 25% for people of color. As reporter Sonia Goins shows us, many of those people live in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center.
Elegant hair design.
Siandi Roberts has lived in Brooklyn Park for 10 years.
No, it's not getting better.
She's also the owner of Elegant Hair Design.
Well, I think it's a job opportunities and a pay rate.
Sidandi is from Liberia. She says although she's successful, the same is not true for other immigrants.
It's working for me, but not for everybody, not for a lot of people. And it would be better if a lot of people or a lot of Africans were employed.
The Met Council agrees. It released a report that shows 12% of the metro's 3 million residents live in poverty. Many are immigrants who live in the suburbs.
It shows that portions of Brooklyn Park, along with Brooklyn Center and Richfield, are new suburban areas that are considered racially concentrated areas of poverty.
Racially concentrated areas of poverty is an area where 50% of the residents are people of color, and 40% of them live in poverty.
The report is really talking about inequities in the region, inequities in opportunity, inequity in financial and economic capacity, and how that affects the growth of the region.
Now, the report also says that children who live in these so-called racially concentrated areas of poverty also live near schools who are underperforming. Now, while the Osseo School District agrees with that statement, they say they are seeing improvements.
We had really nice growth in our graduation rate, and this is specifically at Park Center, which is the senior high that would serve the majority of the areas that were identified in the report.
Officials say everyone should be concerned when it comes to racially concentrated areas of poverty because it affects us all.
Any public policy maker in the region should be concerned about this because, again, the success of the whole region depends on the success of all people in the region.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The Met Council will release its 10-year regional plan in February. It's expected to suggest ways to address racially concentrated areas of poverty. Whether to raise the minimum wage will be a key issue discussed in the upcoming legislative session.
Supporters say a minimum wage increase is necessary to help workers make ends meet and catch up with inflation. But opponents say it would put a strain on small businesses.
12 News reporter Delane Cleveland attended a debate on that issue at the U of M today, and he joins us now with more. Delane?
Now, Mike and Shannon, Representative Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley is the chief author of a bill that would increase Minnesota's minimum wage from the federal mandate of $7.25 an hour to $9.50 an hour for large employers. And as inflation rises, so would the minimum wage.
It's a really bad idea. We've seen it actually really harm, for instance, grocers in Florida, which has an inflationary index, have had a lot of trouble hiring. It also neglects the reality of how businesses operate, which is future planning and looking at budgets.
This afternoon at the University of Minnesota, a full house gathered to hear a panel of lawmakers and economists debate the merits or possible consequences of raising the minimum wage. It's a subject that's in the public eye following President Obama's State of the Union address, and it will be front and center at the state capitol once the legislature convenes next month. But the DFL-controlled Senate could actually prevent Winkler from achieving his goals because they want to see a wage increase closer to $7.75 an hour.
What we are focused on is delivering the message to senators, Democratic senators especially, that a strong minimum wage bill is good for the economy, it is good for workers in their district, it is good for the future of the state, and it helps reverse some long-term trends that are very damaging to the middle class in our state.
Well, as it stands, the minimum wage bill currently sits in conference committee. If passed by both houses, Governor Dayton has already indicated he would sign the bill. So Mike and Shannon, Winkler says the focus is to get the Senate DFLers to support something that's closer to $9.50 an hour. So we'll have to see what happens once next month rolls around.
We'll definitely hear more about it.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Delane. Despite an overcrowding issue, students at Basswood Elementary in Maple Grove will not be reassigned to other schools. The Osseo School District recently put forward 2 different proposals to address the issue. But at Tuesday night's school board meeting, the district withdrew both of them. The first proposal would have moved about 100 Basswood kids to nearby Oakview Elementary. The second proposal involved moving all open enrolled students at Basswood to other schools in the district. After receiving feedback from parents, the district determined neither proposal was a good option. They will keep things as is for the 2014-2015 school year and use that time to come up with a better long-term solution.
The Brooklyn Park City Council is delaying a decision on whether to approve the city's first multifamily apartment project in more than 20 years. Continental Properties is proposing to build 340 two-story townhome-style apartments north of Highway 610. The apartments are considered high-end and include amenities such as granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. The developer believes it's a good fit, citing Olympus and Baxter Medical Companies moving into the area. The city's comprehensive plan, however, calls for something different. The city wants large commercial retail in that area. Some argue that vision is obsolete given the changing retail conditions. But a special development task force argues the city should be patient and this land could be put to better use than apartments.
The big box is not going to be around much longer. Online shopping is the thing, and being in the retail business for over 20 years, I've seen it.
Do I believe that in the future we'll get better than what this brings to the table? Yes, I do. Am I 100% sure? No, I'm not.
Councilmember Gates also argues that this project is the type of housing Brooklyn Park does not have. In the end, there were some unanswered questions to resolve surrounding the project, and as a result, Brooklyn Park Council decided to delay the vote.
Another local suburb is changing its tobacco ordinance to include electronic cigarettes. The New Hope City Council agreed to make the change this week. Even though e-cigarettes don't use smoke, they do use nicotine, and for that reason, city officials want to make sure they are not sold to youth under age 18. The change also means e-cigarette vaping lounges would have to obtain a tobacco license to operate in New Hope. Earlier this month, Brooklyn Center put a moratorium on new tobacco licenses that would include selling e-cigarettes. Coming up, how much do you spend on a cup of coffee in a year? One local coffee shop has an option that may be a money saver for you.
Then later in sports, Hopkins shoots for its 10th straight win in girls basketball. We'll show you how they did.
But first, your AccuWeather forecast shows more snow is on the way. We'll be right back. There are signs the Twin Cities housing market is recovering.
But one Maple Grove firm emphasizes there are still many people upside down on their mortgages. The law firm Mark V. and Sweefel has been helping people and realtors navigate the options available when people are underwater on their homes. They say short sales are preferable over foreclosures, and often the homes move off the market at a higher price than a foreclosed home.
Even today, with the economy improving, the lenders are still really pushing short sales over foreclosure if possible.
The firm offers free consultations for homeowners and realtors, and they recommend if you're thinking about foreclosure or a short sale, you should talk to 3 people: your realtor, an attorney, and your tax accountant.
In Money Savers, if you have a small appliance like an old toaster or a DVD player that doesn't work, take it to the Fix-It Clinic. Hennepin County will once again be offering free Fix-It clinics where volunteers can try to fix your items for free. There are 2 in our area, one at Arks Valley Village in New Hope on February 8th from noon until 4, and again on April 12th at the Osseo Community Center. And finally, a deal for coffee lovers in Maple Grove. Locally owned Daily Dose Cafe and Espresso will let you buy coffee for a year for only $125. They call it the Mug Club. Owners say the deal is good for them because it lets them know how much fresh brewed coffee to keep on hand. If you frequent coffee shops and you buy 3 drip coffees a week, you could spend as much as $300. Mug Club members get that amount for half the price.
If they come like 3 times a week, they've, doubled their savings, so it's a good deal for them.
You can also get a discount off lattes if you're a member of the Mug Club. The Daily Dose is still offering that deal right now. If it's cold, we'll like that cup of coffee for sure. Coming up, why the 15th of each month is becoming something special for many Crystal residents.
But first, it's game on in Lake Conference boys basketball. John Jacobson will have highlights from Wayzata's game with Edina. Maybe no surprise, another good outing for Hopkins girls basketball, but they were playing a good team too.
They were playing a good team, although it seems like any team matched up with Hopkins, sometimes you have to kind of gauge that. The Royals are just that much better a lot of times than their opponent. 3-time defending state Class 4A girls basketball champion Hopkins is hitting on all cylinders now after a couple of December losses. A good Minnetonka team hoped to spring an upset Tuesday night. Hopkins, though, rolling early. Nia Holly drives it all the way for a layup and a quick 12-0 lead for the Royals. Brian Livingston swings across court, and Holly can shoot from the outside, too. This 3 is part of a 26-point night for Holly, and it's 29-8 Hopkins. Minnetonka does close the first half on a 14-3 run, and a Hedstrom setting up Caroline Shellquist for 2. The Skippers are within 13 at the half. But Hopkins doesn't slow down in the second half. Quick passing here leads to an inside hoop plus the foul. The Royals go up 47-26. They have a lot of weapons. T.T. Starks knocks down a 3 from the corner, and Hopkins routs Minnetonka 74-45. In boys basketball, Wayzata's young team has had an up-and-down season. The Trojans were looking to break a 3-game losing streak Tuesday as they hosted Edina. Off a Trojans miss, the Hornets fly down the court in a hurry. Mahad Haji finishes with a layup and a 5-0 Edina lead. Wayzata finds the open man here. It's Brennan Brody in the corner for 3, and the Trojans counter with a 10-0 run. Jonathan Kinley passes to Johnny Beninga, and Beninga twists and scores in the lane. Nice hoop. The sophomore scores 14 points to lead Wayzata. The Trojans miss a 3 from the corner, and the loose ball comes to Ben Boone. Edina guard going in alone for the dunk. Hornets lead at 33-30 at the half. Second half, and Will Beninga hits a 3 from the wing, and the Trojans stay close in this game. And it's Ty Galinsky turning into the lane. He'll use the glass and hit 2 here. 8 points for him in the game. But the Trojans have trouble slowing down Edina's outstanding freshman guard, Walt McGrory. He scores 26 points in the game. Edina goes on to beat Wayzata 71-60. Also in boys basketball, Heritage hosting Bethany Academy. First half, Bethany's Seth Coopersmith goes up for a pretty layup that gets the Eagles within 1 at 5-4. Heritage Christian comes right back. Joel Vershik finds C.J. Woda for the wide open 3, putting the Heritage Eagles up by 4. Bethany trying to stay in at Coopersmith driving, then swings it over to Sam Hagan, who drains a 3, but that only cuts the lead to 22-13. Heritage continues to dominate the first half. Nice passing here before Vershik nails a 3, giving them a 31-14 lead. They're up 19 points at the half. Second half, Tanner Scott misses a 3, but Drew Kleinschmidt grabs the rebound and bowls his way in for 2 of his game-high 19 points. Heritage goes on to win 51-31. It's been an up-and-down season for Breck's girls hockey team, but they were on a 5-game winning streak heading into their game against Lakeville North. Lakeville North's Heidi Winicky fans on the first shot. Her second shot, though, is in. That's a 1-0 Panthers lead. Later in the first period, Winnicky going to the net, tucks in another goal in the backhand, and it's 2-0. Second period, Winnicky passes to Morgan Maines, who makes a nice move for the goal. 3-0 Lakeville North. Breck comes alive late in the second period, but Lakeville goalie Abby Cooper is solid. And Cooper continues to play well in the third period. She stops all 27 Breck shots in the game. Lakeville North wins it 3-0. Rivals in other sports, Breck and Blake are combined for boys swimming. The Bear Stangs, as they're called, hosted Benilde St. Margaret's Tuesday 200 medley relay. Benilde has a slight lead, but Breck Blake anchor Trevor Larson just touches first with a time of 52.41 seconds. To the 200 freestyle race, Benilde freshman Thomas McGinn cruises to the win. His time 157.53. Second place goes to the Bear Stangs' Ryan Brohl. In the 50 freestyle, Humphrey Pruitt of Breck Blake wins by a comfortable margin. His winning time 23.17 seconds. The 100 butterfly race goes to Nick Van Oppen of Breck Blake. The Bear Stangs go on to beat the Red Knights 51-42. Man, that's a look at sports for today.
All right. Thanks, John.
Welcome.
Coming up next, how one local man plans to encourage city pride in the city of Crystal.
We'll be right back.
A Crystal resident born and raised in the city is hoping a monthly gathering will help bring the community he loves together.
Now, Sean Smith has started a group called the Light of Crystal. One of their activities is Halfway Happy Hour, where residents gather on the 15th of every month at food venues around town.
We encourage people to come to any or all of these, but it's just a break from the raising of kids, the going to work, and all the things that come into life. So it's a good chance to relax and have some fun.
February's Halfway Happy Hour will be held on Saturday the 15th at Broadway Bar and Pizza in Crystal from 6 to 8 p.m. The group is also hosting a fundraiser bowling tournament on February 22nd. And join other Crystal residents at Doyle's Bowling Alley on West Broadway. Money raised will go toward an organization that works to improve the city of Crystal. Well, finally, it's not something you see every day. Retired community members dressed up as storybook characters.
But that's exactly what these men and women do every week as members of Story Theater. The group visits schools and libraries in the Robbinsdale School District and performs stories like today's The Wolf Who Cried Boy, which is a take on the popular Aesop's fable.
But the most important thing is that we bring the love of reading to the kids in school. Based on the age that we're presenting stories, we can be anything from Martin Luther King today to a mother duck, and it's just rewarding.
The group is celebrating its 20th season. They do about 60 performances every year.
That looks like a blast.
That would be fun. That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.